Next, we have House File 4310. Representative, our Chair Lilly, welcome to the committee. It's good to have you with us this morning. I will move that House File 4310 be re-referred to Ways and Means. The bill is now before us. If you would talk about your bill.
Thank you, Chair Claiborne and members and STAR staff. I'm a little bit jealous seeing Ms. Roberts there. She ditched us in Legacy, so you just don't know how lucky you are. I
Oh,
think.
yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Okay. So House File, she's going to not be happy with me probably. Sorry. House File 4310 is a compensation plans bill that was ratified through the Subcommittee of Employee Relations. And the bill essentially is a bunch of plans. And I'll kind of just go through them, but then I have some real experts here with me. The Commissioner's Plan, Managerial Plan, Office of Higher Education, Unclassified Personnel Compensation Plan, MNsure Compensation Plan, and also the 24 and 25 Minnesota State Administrator Personnel Plan. The plans that were negotiated through MMB cover about 2,960 employees, and the plan submitted through Minnesota State. Our school system covers about 500 administrator. I have Nick with me here, and he can go into the bill with more detail, and then we have quite a bit of talent out there in the crowd, way in the back there, so if there's any questions that Mr. Nash or his team has or others, we're looking forward to that. So if you're willing, Madam Chair, would like to have Nick kind of take over.
Thank you. Welcome to the committee. If you'll state your name for the record and begin your testimony, please.
Thank you, Chair Claiborne and members. I'm Nick Nigro with the Legislative Coordinating Commission, and our office provides staff support for the Subcommittee on Employee Relations. Included in your meeting materials is a summary of the plans that are ratified by this bill. There are more detailed summaries and the plans themselves online at the SER's website. A high-level overview is that among these 5 plans, the first 4 are negotiated through MMB, and those plans are largely similar in that each have a 5.5% increase in salaries effective last July and a 4.5% effective July of this year. They also include annual merit-based increases, generally at 3.5%, and on average, about half of the covered employees are eligible. So these plans do not add to the biennial base, but they will take out of the operating costs currently. For MMB, that's about $69 million. That's a 7.68% increase, and an average of a 10.16% increase from the 24-25 biennium to the 26-27 biennium. And the insurance benefits, which include dental, health, disability, are initially bargained, and those are generally consistent across the plans. And then there is one plan that covers Minnesota State colleges and universities, and that has a 2.5% increase July 1st of last year, and again this year. And that also has a merit-based increased pool. And that will add $14 million to their biennium costs, and that's a 6.82% increase, and that's a 9.33% increase from the 24-25 biennium to the 26-27 biennium. Attached is a settlement sheet showing all of these estimated costs by MMB and Minnesota State, alongside the negotiated collective bargaining agreements. And those estimates indicate increased costs of all of them will be 7.75% in this biennium, with an impact of 10.53% on the next biennium. Madam Chair and members, that concludes my overview. I'm happy to answer any questions, and I know our friends from MMB are here if you have particularly technical questions. Thank you.
Thank you, and I would just like to take a moment to thank you and the Legislative Coordinating Commission for the great nonpartisan work that you do in helping us get these budgets and plans moving forward, so thank you. Any questions from the members? Representative Harder.
Thank you, Chair Claiborne. When I was at the county, we had union negotiations, and sometimes they were simple, and sometimes they were difficult. And usually when there's a negotiations, the unions will come to the table with a list of wants and needs. And sometimes they are fulfilled, and sometimes they are not. And I'm just curious if there was anything during these negotiations that they came with a list of wants that ended up being compromised. I'm just curious if there was anything like that.
I believe we're trying to dial a friend.
I think Director Weber is going to address this.
Madam Chair, I'm Michelle Urich with the Legislative Coordinating Commission. I got married last summer, so the new name. But,
Oh my gosh, forgive me.
and Representative Harder, these are the compensation plans that are not collectively bargained, so they are not union-covered employees. So these are the plans. But MMB could, if you have questions specifically about if there was anything that they considered in the plans, MMB could bring that. But that it wasn't a collectively bargained agreement.
Thank you very much. And I think it's important to know that the Subcommittee on Employee Relations is a nonpartisan committee. I mean, it's a bipartisan committee. So, and these, I understand, went through with unanimous consent. Is that correct?
I believe we had some dissenting votes.
Oh, there were some dissenting votes, all right. Well, then I stand corrected, as I often do. Okay. Did you have a follow-up? Thank you.
Thank you for the information, because things are done differently than what I'm used to, so thank you very much for that clarification.
Yep, thank you so much. Any other questions? Representative Nadeau.
Just one really fast question. Do these kind of match similarly with the collective bargaining that was done within those agencies? My experience is only with, county, and we have unrepresented people as well. And so we would negotiate with the collective bargaining, and then those unrepresented populations would very closely match what was bargained for. Is that the case here as well?
Chair Lilly.
Thank you, Chair Claiborne and Representative Nadeau. It is my understanding that there is quite a few parallels that were similar to the, say, like the MAPE contract or the ASME with the majority of public employees. But I'm going to pass to.
Chair Cleavorn, Representative Nadeau, there are obviously technical differences between the collective bargaining agreements and these compensation plans. But if you turn towards the salary settlement at the back of my summary, you'll see that the across-the-board increases in 23 and 24 are the same for both the collective bargaining agreements and then also the MMB negotiated agreements.
Thank you. Representative Nadeau? Okay, thank you very much.
It's a good question.
Any other questions? Lead Nash.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and to the author. So you've got an increase of 7.69 and for the 26-27 base, 10.41. How does that impact what everyone has been talking about, which is some call it a structural imbalance. My side would call it a structural deficit. Can you help us work through that?
Lead Nash, I'd just like to remind you, the numbers are on the back side of our handout, and they're just a little different from the numbers that you put forward. But if you would be willing to answer the question, please.
Thank you, Chair and Lead Nash. So the contracts are, on the front end, are baked in to be absorbed into the, the budgets that we passed. So essentially, going forward. But then in the future, yes, there will be additional expense or, you know, to cover our amazing talent that we have in the state that, no, but I mean, we'll have to be realistic about changing the budgets because it is, and that's time, you know, you have to factor that in with every pay raise.
Reed Nash, is there further questions?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And irrespective of what numbers may be, the
Yeah.
chair himself just acknowledged that we're looking at a structural deficit. And the Walls administration has pointed that out in the different briefings. Economists are talking about it. The chair has talked about it now. Decisions that we make here have to be considered. And I think that we need to look at every nickel we spend moving forward this year of the biennium with that in mind, because money only comes from one place, and that is the taxpayer. So thank you.
Thank you very much. And is there any further discussion? Would you like to close up the bill?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, members, for looking at this. And I think it is important to, you know, we're seeing this with employee, I was on Ways and Means yesterday, and we're seeing that retaining staff and having employees in Minnesota is an important factor. And unemployment's very low, and we need to make sure that we're retaining our talent. And we are one of the best-run states in the country. And you know, these plans cover our college system. I mean, how important is that for Minnesota? You know, it is managers, but they're also part of the team that's making sure that our future is bright. And there's many other plans in here, so I shouldn't just focus on just that. But I think the future is, I think in any business, you know that if you do raises, you know that your increases, that's going to be factored in, and you need to plan for that. So I think we are as a state, and I think we're in good shape, and I look forward to your support, please.
Thank you very much. And with that, I will renew my motion that House File 4310 be re-referred to Ways and Means. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. The motion prevails, and House File 4310 is re-referred to Ways and Means.